It's official, Karoline Leavitt has done the unthinkable, she won.
Think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists, but they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years.
After months of courtroom theatrics, viral mayhem, and frantic damage control from ABC higher-ups, Karoline Leavitt has pulled off the unthinkable. She's just won her jaw-dropping $800 million defamation suit against The View. Yes, you read that right. The once untouchable daytime juggernaut has taken the hardest hit in its history, and Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and Sunny Host, they're stunned. Their credibility cracked their network in full-blown crisis, and Karoline, she didn't just win, she changed the entire game. This isn't just a personal victory. This is a seismic moment, a cultural reset where someone finally stared down legacy media and declared no more. So how did it come to this? What exactly did The View say to ignite this legal firestorm? And how did Karoline flip a viral media hit job into an $800 million legal knockout strap in? Because this one's a roller coaster. But before we jump into the chaos, make sure to smash that like button, tap, subscribe, and stick around, because what you're about to hear might just alter the way you see daytime TV forever. Subscribed already? Perfect. Let's unpack this. Like most media meltdowns on The View, it began with a smirk, a condescending glance, and a jab so polished it could have been. Scripted Karoline Leavitt wasn't walking into that studio blind, she knew what it was. A minefield where right-leaning voices, especially women, were often caricatured, not heard, but she walked in anyway. Confident suit, calm demeanor, voice steady. She came to talk about national defense, civic engagement, and policy. The mission: deliver facts, speak up, hold her ground. What she got a live ambush dressed up as daytime banter.
They really don't like this woman. She's a good communicator. And so Joy Behar just offered her analysis on why Leavitt was picked for the role.
Joy Behar led the charge. She squinted across the table, her voice thick with sarcasm, and leaned in with that signature smirk sharp enough to sour cream. Come on, Karoline's not here for her intellect. Trump probably just thinks she's a 10 the studio. Erupted not with chuckles, but with the kind of laughter designed to cut applause, snorts, mocking grins. It all landed like punches, then came Sanani Hostin, not even waiting for the noise to die down before tossing in her own grenade. Let's be honest, this isn't about qualifications. She's just a poster child for privilege, end of story. It was a pile-in with no shame, and just when it seemed the worst had passed, Whoopi Goldberg leaned back, arms crossed, and dropped the line that would light the legal fuse. If it weren't for wokeness, you wouldn't even have a job boom. That was the spark. The clip exploded online within hours. Hashtags like Karoline Setup and The View Unhinged were trending across platforms, but Karoline, no flinching, no ranting Twitter thread, no tearful Instagram live. She adjusted her blazer, took a slow sip of water, and smiled.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline, thank you very much for your time.
These women are completely out of touch with reality, and you're right. ABC should wake up.
Because in that moment, Karoline didn't flinch. She was prepared, and the second the camera stopped rolling, she made the call that would flip the script entirely. She dialed her legal team. The headlines hit like thunderclaps. Karoline Leavitt sues. The View for $800 million ABC in turmoil after explosive defamation suit. Conservative powerhouse drops. Legal bombshell on daytime television. And just like that, the smirks disappeared. This wasn't Twitter drama or a partisan spat. This was War Karoline. Leavitt had filed an $800 million lawsuit armed with elite lawyers, airtight documentation, and a digital arsenal of footage that made The View look like a smear machine at the heart of it all. One core accusation: character assassination. But this wasn't a murky back and forth. Karoline's legal team came locked in, receipts in hand. They filed transcripts of the exact segments in question, down to every sarcastic word they submitted, raw camera feeds, even the off-air snippets with snickers and high fives they dropped internal. Slack chats showing producers openly plotting to provoke her on air. Pre-show notes contained the fatal phrase, "Let Joy open," with the looks, "Jab Whoopi, will end it with a dagger." That was it. The smoking gun, the proof. This wasn't a conversation, it was a hit job masked as daytime chatter in ABC. They were blindsided executives, scrambled legal, scrambled harder. PR teams pulled all-nighters, talk of suspension, surfaced network-wide. Damage control went into overdrive. Even ABC insiders admitted it. This wasn't just a PR nightmare, it was an implosion.
President Trump's life echoed the sentiment that President Trump is a threat to democracy. And if you're a deranged lunatic and you're mentally ill, you will believe that lie. And yes, you will take political violence like we have seen in 2 instances against President Trump. Last week, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris said that everyone who showed up to President Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden was a Nazi. That's despicable, dangerous, divisive rhetoric that is spewed by the Democrat Party every single day.
Suddenly, Karoline Leavitt wasn't just another guest on a talk show. She was the woman who shattered the illusion of harmless banter and ripped the mask off performative media ambushes. She wasn't trending for a quip, she was trending because she did. The unthinkable. She made The View face consequences for years of unchecked bias, and this was only the beginning. The second the lawsuit hit national headlines, the energy at ABC flipped smug, turned to scramble behind the polished sets and sparkling studio lights. Chaos was unfolding. The loudest voices were suddenly whispering, the habitual laughers. Silent, according to insiders, the first to fold was Whoopi Goldberg, that's right. Whoopi, the queen of comebacks, the legendary moderator. The one who once shrugged off controversy like lint, not this time. Word is Whoopi reached out to a former colleague, someone who had ties to both her and Karoline. The tone uncharacteristically careful. Can we meet? Just talk. We don't have to let this get worse, but it already had. Then came Joy Behar, known on air for her fire and fearlessness, but behind closed doors, completely different vibe sources say. Joy personally rang up one of Karoline's lawyers, called them herself, asking if there was any way to settle this quietly, allegedly even floated the idea of drafting a statement, maybe a public apology. It Ryer of desperation, and Sonani Hostin, she skipped the niceties altogether. She was running numbers because Sonny the Only, trained attorney at the table, understood the stakes fast. She began consulting privately with her own legal team. Separate from ABC's, word is she was terrified of personal liability. She even asked more than once if she could be removed from the lawsuit altogether. Karoline's legal team didn't flinch because while The View scrambled to smother the legal inferno, Karoline's camp calmly, methodically stoked the flames.
Isn't it rich that The View is saying she got the job based on looks when DEI is all about based on looks?
ABC's boardroom turned into a battlefield. Emergency meetings ran daily. Executives argued over every possible option, settlement statements, and yes, even the unthinkable canceling the show. That word cancellation was first whispered during a midnight huddle between top legal brass and the crisis PR team, but whispers don't stay. Whispers for Longstaff overheard texts leaked, Twitter lit up like a fuse. The View, once a daytime titan, was now a liability with a logo. Karoline, she didn't flinch, didn't waver. Her legal team dropped a 1S sentence bomb that echoed across Hollywood. Accountability cannot be negotiated. Boom, that's when the game changed. While The View hoped an apology might soften the blow, Karoline made it clear they were going all the way. And then it happened, the showdown. Everyone had been bracing for courtroom lights, media swarms, cameras, flashing crowds packed in. Like it was red carpet night. Karoline Leavitt versus The View had officially begun, and let me tell you, it felt more like the Emmys than a lawsuit. Karoline entered like a storm wrapped in silk navy suit, composed expression. Not a single hair out of line, no entourage, no theatrics, just control. She took her seat, folded her hands, and waded across the Izil total contrast. The hosts looked shattered. Whoopi Goldberg, once the embodiment of bravado, wore dark glasses. Indoors, no eye contact, shoulders, stiff hands, trembling next to her. Joy Behar, ashen and tight-lipped, not a single wise crack, not even. A nervous one, Sonani Hostin, shuffled legal documents in her lap like they were prayer beads. Despite her credentials, her face screamed panic. Then the trial began. Karoline's team didn't waste a second. They opened with footage, a slow-motion montage of the segment in question. It was brutal, clip after clip, insult after insult, mockery layered like bricks in a wall of humiliation. The The courtroom fell to a hush. Every breath, every fidget was amplified by the tension. Then came the receipts, emails, Slack messages, meeting notes. One document filled the courtroom screen in bold type. "We need a viral moment. Karoline's the target today." Gasps filled the room. The judge paused. Jurors glanced at each other in disbelief. One covered her mouth, another shook his head, and then icing on the cake, a leaked voice memo from a producer after the show. "We got what we needed," she cracked. Only she hadn't. Karoline just sat there, unmoved, unbothered, watching it unfold like a film she knew by heart. Whoopi's head slowly sank. Joy reached for her water but didn't drink. Sunny couldn't stop fidgeting. The truth was inescapable. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a takedown. And Karoline, she wasn't just winning, she was rewriting the rules. Then came the moment of truth. Courtroom packed media, outside reporters scribbling. Karoline sat calm, hands folded. Whoopi, Joy, Sunny motionless. The jury filed in, faces unreadable. The four-person rows turned to the judge and delivered the verdict on the count of defamation. We find the defendants liable. Boom, that single word sent a shockwave through the building, but it wasn't over. ABC and The View's co-hosts were ordered to pay $800 million in damages. Let that sink in. $800 million. This wasn't just a loss. It was a reckoning. The internet exploded. Twitter melted down. TikTok lit up with edits and reaction vids. YouTubers streamed their responses in real time. Some even cried on camera. Hashtags flew. Karoline wins The View on trial media. Reckoning Whoopi. Wrecked cancel The View anchors couldn't believe it. One even said, "Liv, we just witnessed the most expensive talk show mistake in TV history." And Karoline, no gloating, no giddy speech. She stood, thanked her team, smiled at the flashbulbs, and walked out like a boss. The View, they weren't just covering the news anymore. They were the headline.
The most divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world.
The morning after the verdict, absolute chaos inside ABC headquarters. Panic hit a whole new level. Sources say top advertisers, including some of the biggest global names, pulled out within hours. PR teams were drowning. Legal departments were working. Around the clock, executives were reportedly in heated debates over whether The View should be rebranded or shut down completely. One internal memo leaked to the press captured the mood perfectly. "We underestimated this guest. We underestimated this." Lawsuit, and now we're facing the worst PR crisis in network history. Stamped URGNT, and the host Whoopi hasn't been back on set. Joy has gone completely dark. Sunny radio silence. Producers are dodging reporters, canceling interviews backstage. Insiders say the atmosphere feels like a funeral. Meanwhile, Karoline Leavitt is being hailed as a media reform icon. Journalists who once dismissed her as a fringe political influencer are now calling her the conservative AOC, with evidence her social media is on fire. Follower counts surging, comment sections overflowing with support. One viral tweet summed it up. Karoline didn't just win in court, she won a generation's trust. Another post, the girl who took on daytime TV and won.
There is a lot of reporting out there that is putting the onus on this White House for the increased cost of eggs. I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office, or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country. We also have seen the cost of everything, not just eggs. Bacon, groceries, gasoline have increased because of the inflationary policies of the last administration.
Some fans are even turning the moment into merch t-shirts with 800 million equals silent stamped across the chest stickers that read, "Next time you mock someone, lawyer up. It's not just support, it's a movement." And while The View scrambles to salvage what's left, Karoline, she's standing taller than ever.
Do you want to check this?
So you cannot be attractive and smart? I will try to give Joy the benefit, and well, thank you. I try to give Joy the benefit of the doubt that she didn't see that briefing. Because if you saw that yesterday on numerous topics, no big binder, I think she might have had a different impression of this young woman who held her own.
I mean, you would have to give her the benefit of the doubt that she did absolutely no research or reading about anything dealing with Karoline Leavitt before she made that remark.
So what happens now? The ripple effects are already in motion. Talk show producers are scrambling to rewrite guest protocols. Legal teams are rushing to train hosts on what not to say. Media executives are holding behind closed doors meetings about tightening the reins on live narratives, because The View made one thing clear: you can't just say whatever you want anymore and walk away smirking, not with Karoline Leavitt in the audience, not when the silence is finally breaking. And Karoline, she's not shouting, not gloating, not even slowing down, she's just winning with receipts, strategy, and a calm voice that rattled one of the loudest platforms on television to its foundation. Let's be honest, this verdict didn't just flip Karoline's world, it flipped everything. Every host, every producer, every network, they just got a lesson. They won't forget words have weight, and now they have consequence.
Yes, and as you mentioned, with conservative women, there's a long list of that, both of Trump's previous press secretaries, females, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Kayleigh McEnany, other figures like his campaign manager the first time, Kellyanne Conway, Sarah Palin very famously had to bear the brunt of a lot of this. So people are used to that. I think in their bubble of the audience that The View speaks to, that's probably kind of what the groupthink is. So one defense, I guess, is that she was speaking to her audience, but you take it outside of that bubble the way you are right now, and we all can see.
Now it's your turn. Was Karoline right to take this fight all the way to court? Did The View finally cross a line that couldn't be walked back? And are we witnessing the start of a brand new era, one where media finally answers for its words drop? Your thoughts in the comments, we're reading every single one. And before you bounce, smash that like button. If you believe truth still matters, hit subscribe so you don't miss a single update on this unfolding story. Because Karoline Leavitt just proved something big. This isn't a punchline anymore. It's a verdict, and The View may never recover. Stay tuned.